Let's add some more content to our application. I'm going to put a div in here. And in the div, eventually we're going to render our naming contests. For now, I'm just going to do 3 dots. And you'll immediately get a JSX parsing error that says these two HTML elements must be wrapped in an enclosing HTML tag. And the reason for this, if you remember, that this is a react.createElement call, and this is another react.createElement call. So we can't actually have them follow each other like this. Instead, to fix this problem, we're going to enclose both of them in a top-level div tag. So I'm going to put them in here, fix the indentation, and this should work. Let's test that. So I get the header and I get the content of the div. Now this app component has 2 parts. It has a header part and it has the content part. Because we have the React composability, we can actually take these parts into their own component. Let's call this component header. So not only I'm extracting this header component for reusability, but it's also now much more readable. The app components start with a header component. So let's define this header component. It's another constant. It's header. It's always a function. And it returns the header HTML, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a header message, which we can just call message now because we are in header. Let's use the header of our app, naming contests. And in here, instead of using props.message, we can actually destructure the property message here and just use it directly in here. I'm going to remove the default value, but I'm going to keep the props validation, but we have to move it to the header here. And instead of app, it's now header. Instead of header message, it's now message. It's still a string. I don't have any props here, so I'm just going to remove it for now. Looking good. Let's go ahead and test. There you go. So now this header component is a readable, reusable component that we used to compose the app component. And that made the app component shorter, and it also made the app component more readable. We know that this section here is a header. So a few more tips. I like to always give every top element a class name, just in case we want to style it later. And I like this class name to match the name of the component. Let's also make sure that you have the React extension tool, as you can see here, that I have it in here. If you don't have it, Google for React Dev Tools. You have a Chrome extension, and I think it's also supported on Firefox. This developer tool is really handy. First, it recognizes our structure. So you can see here we have an app component and we have a header component. This is definitely much better than looking at just the raw HTML generated by the virtual DOM. But other than recognizing our components here, it also recognizing the properties. And when we start talking about the state, it also recognizes the state of our components. So it's a very handy tool to have in development. Make sure that you get it and make sure that it's working for you.